Greetings, Earthlings. This is Dave Smith with another episode of And Another Thing with Dave. Me being Dave. And so today I'd like to talk about Iran. We're preparing to go to war with Iran. We've already had a false flag that they, are doing stuff in the straits and might be blocking oil, blah, 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 blah. All over again. Here we go. The war hawks at work. So a couple videos that I would really like you to check out on this to give a little historical perspective. One is called History of U.S. Intervention in Iran, 1953 until present. And it's published on YouTube by thepresident.com, and .com is spelled out DOTCOM. Fascinating. It's under 10 minutes, and it shows the history of our intervention in Iran. We overthrew a democratically elected leader in Iran in 1953. So all this hoopla about, the leader of Iran being, ruling by Sharia law, blah, 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 all this and that, all bullshit. What that is it's called blowback. This is a CIA term for the unpredicted consequences of our interaction. And it might even be the predicted, I don't know, Google it. Blowback. Consequences of our foreign policy and basically our meddling. So we overthrow a leader, democratically elected leader. Iran had, women had all these rights and we're going to school and this and that. We overthrow that leader. There's a huge backlash, and then they get some fundamentalist nut job in there. Pretty much the same thing that happened in Libya. Muammar Gaddafi, we wanted to overthrow him for decades, right? And then I'm sure you've seen the clip with Hillary Clinton. We came, we saw, he died. And she laughs like this evil Jekyll, the total frickin' war hawk. Oh, war whore. Muammar Gaddafi was doing beautiful things for Libya. Anyway, we'll save that for another podcast. But it's the identical scenario. Now Libya has open-air slave markets. They had a great society where people were going to school for free health care. They all got a kickback of the oil revenue, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, that, like I said, that's another podcast. But Iran, it's the same bullshit. So here we are, Iran. I mean, what was it? Who was that asshole? McCain. Bomb, Iran. Frickin' war, prisoner of war. And he's got the balls to come out and want to bomb a country for no frickin' reason other than that they have a shit ton of oil. Huh. I call bullshit. So we overthrew them in 1953. Iran has never invaded a country since they've been called Iran. Last time they invaded somebody was when it was the Persian Empire, hundreds of years ago. So, dig a little deeper, people. Don't believe what the mainstream media is throwing down your throat. This is Iraq all over again. Weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, weapons of mass destruction, my ass. Iraq had huge oil reserves, and they had privatized their oil, but the real reason we went in is because they were going to start selling their oil by the euro instead of the dollar. The dollar is the world's reserve currency, and if you're not familiar with what that means, it means if you want to buy oil anywhere in the world, you got to do it with dollars. You have to first exchange your currency into dollars, then you can buy the oil. It's the only thing propping up the dollar at this point, because it's a complete bogus fiat currency, because we've just been printing it out of control ever since the 2008 collapse. Trillions of dollars just printed with not based on anything. There's no gold standard. It doesn't tie to any asset, any tangible asset. It's monopoly money at this point. The only thing that keeps it valuable as the world's reserve currency is our military at this point. So please do a little research. Check out that video, the history of, let me read it to you one more time. History of U.S. intervention in Iran, 1953 till present. And there's one other thing I'd like you to check out. It's just type into YouTube, the U.S. will invade 7 countries in 5 years. It's a I don't even know how to describe it. It's a horrible yet informative interview with former General Wesley Clark, interviewed by Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! And he talks about just post 9/11, pre-Iraq War, how our Pentagon had plans to invade 7 countries in 5 years. And guess what? Iran's the only one left on the list. So thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, and feel free to share with a friend. Thanks for coming by. See you next time.
Hey, so we are now on over 20 platforms. We are on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, should be on any platform where you try to find us. And another thing, with Dave. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do share with friends and help me grow the podcast.